Daily 8 English podcast.
From Daily 8 English.
Hey, fellow English learners. It's good to see you all. Welcome back to Daily 8 English, where 8 minutes a day builds the fluency of a lifetime. I'm Tom.
And I'm Olivia. Let's get started.
Olivia, I need to ask you something. Have you ever had to tell someone their work wasn't good enough and had absolutely no idea how to say it?
Oh, constantly. And the worst part is when you try to be nice about it and they still look devastated.
Or the opposite. You try to be direct and suddenly you've started a war.
Yes, neither outcome is ideal.
So today we are tackling one of the most important and honestly most feared communication skills in any professional setting, giving feedback.
And specifically, how to give feedback that is honest and useful, without sounding harsh, passive-aggressive, or just plain rude.
Because here's the thing, feedback is a gift. When it's delivered well, it helps people grow. It builds trust, it raises the standard of work, and it shows people that you actually care about their development.
But when it's delivered badly, harshly, vaguely, or at the wrong moment, it damages relationships, kills motivation, and makes people shut down completely.
And the tricky part is that most of us were never actually taught how to give feedback well. We just watched how other people did it. And a lot of those people weren't great at it either.
And for non-native English speakers, this is especially tricky, because the words you choose in English carry a lot of cultural weight. Something that sounds perfectly normal in your first language can land very differently in English.
Which is exactly why we're here. 3 techniques. Let's go.
But Tom, honestly, are you good at giving feedback yourself? Because I feel like you'd sugarcoat everything.
I would not. I'm a very direct person. Ask anyone.
You once told an intern that their presentation was super interesting, when we both agreed afterwards it made no sense whatsoever.
I said it was interesting. I didn't say it was good.
That is the definition of sugarcoating, Tom.
Okay, fine. Maybe I have a slight tendency to over-encourage. But that's because I care. I don't want people to feel bad.
And that instinct is actually good. The intention matters. But caring about someone doesn't mean avoiding the truth. It means delivering it well.
Which is exactly the skill we're building today. Let's get into it.
Technique 1 is called the sandwich method. And before Tom makes a food joke, let me explain.
I wasn't going to. Okay, I was absolutely going to.
The sandwich method means you structure your feedback in 3 layers. Positive observation first, then the constructive feedback, then another positive or forward-looking statement at the end.
So you open strong, deliver the difficult part in the middle, and close on something encouraging.
For example, instead of saying, "This report is full of errors and the structure is all wrong," you say, "I can see a lot of solid research went into this. The structure needs some work before we share it with the client. Let's tighten it up together." Your data analysis in section 3 is genuinely strong.
Same message, completely different landing.
The first version puts someone on the defensive immediately. The second version keeps them open, keeps them engaged, and keeps the relationship intact.
And the key word there, together. Let's fix this together. Let's work on this together. That one word shifts the dynamic from criticism to collaboration.
Another useful phrase for the sandwich method: "I want to flag something before we move forward." That signals you have a concern, but it's calm and professional, not alarming, not aggressive.
Or, one thing I'd love to see strengthened here is, that phrase is incredibly powerful. I'd love to see is honest but forward-looking. It focuses on the future improvement, not the past mistake.
And the final layer of the sandwich, the closing positive, doesn't have to be big. Even something like, "I think with a few adjustments this is going to be really strong," is enough to land the feedback softly.
The sandwich doesn't fix everything, but it keeps the door open. And in professional relationships, keeping the door open is everything.
Which leads us to technique 2, separate the work from the person.
Break that down for me.
So one of the biggest mistakes people make when giving feedback is accidentally making it feel personal. You didn't think this through. You always miss deadlines. You're not being clear.
Yeah, the moment you say you always, the conversation is over. Now we're talking about character, not work.
Exactly. But if you shift the language to focus on the work, the output, the document, the presentation, the behavior, it stays professional.
So, you didn't think this through becomes, this section needs a bit more development. Let's look at what's missing.
You always miss deadlines becomes, the timeline slipped on this one. What can we put in place to make sure we stay on track next time?
You're not being clear becomes, I want to make sure I'm following you. Can you walk me through that again?
In every case, you're talking about the situation, the work, the outcome, not the person's intelligence, character, or worth.
And people feel that difference immediately. Their shoulders come down, they stop being defensive, they start actually listening.
Exactly. And technique 3 is one of my favorites. It's called the ask first approach.
Oh, I like this one. Tell them.
Instead of immediately delivering your feedback, you first ask the person to assess their own work. You give them the floor before you speak.
Something like, before I share my thoughts, how do you feel this went? Or, what do you think worked well, and what would you do differently?
And here's the magic. Most of the time, the person already knows what went wrong. They'll bring it up themselves. And now your feedback is no longer criticism. It's a conversation.
You're not the judge handing down a verdict. You're a collaborator helping them think it through.
And when they identify the issue themselves, they are far more motivated to fix it. Because it's their insight, not your complaint.
Brilliant. And even when they don't identify the issue, you've already created a safe space for the conversation, so your feedback lands much more softly.
Useful phrases for ask first. What's your take on how this went? If you could change one thing, what would it be? Walk me through your thinking on this part.
Simple questions, but they completely change the power dynamic in the room.
And here's a bonus move with ask first. After they've shared their self-assessment, you can say, I had a similar thought. Here's what I'd suggest. Now your feedback feels like confirmation, not contradiction.
You're essentially agreeing with them about the problem and then offering the solution together. That's the difference between a manager who people fear and a manager people actually want to impress.
And if they genuinely don't see the issue, you can gently bridge. That's interesting. I noticed something slightly different. Can I share what I observed? That phrasing is respectful, curious, and completely non-threatening.
Can I share what I observed? Write that one down. It's one of the most professional sentences you can say in a feedback conversation.
All right, word tour. 6 words to make your feedback land like a pro.
Word 1. Constructive. I have some constructive feedback on the proposal. It signals immediately that your intention is to help, not criticize.
Word 2. Refine. I think we need to refine this section a little. Refine sounds collaborative and professional, much softer than fix or redo.
Word 3. Opportunity. I see a real opportunity to strengthen this. Reframes a weakness as a possibility. People respond to opportunity language very differently than problem language.
Word 4. Specifics. Can I give you some specifics? Or, the specifics here need a bit more attention. Vague feedback is useless feedback. Specifics signals precision and professionalism.
Word 5. Appreciate. I really appreciate the effort here. Let's push it a little further. Appreciate acknowledges the work before the critique. Never underestimate that.
Word 6. Revisit. Let's revisit this section together. I'd like to revisit the timeline. Revisit is a gentle, non-threatening word that opens the door to change without implying failure.
6 words. Constructive, refine, opportunity, specifics, appreciate, revisit. These are the words of someone who gives feedback like a seasoned, emotionally intelligent professional, not someone who just blurts out whatever they're thinking.
And a quick note on timing. These words work even better when you're calm and prepared. If you're frustrated or caught off guard, take a breath first. The words matter, but so does the energy behind them.
A simple trick. Before any feedback conversation, ask yourself, Am I doing this to help them or to make myself feel better? If the answer is to help, you're ready. If not, wait.
That one question will save you from so many uncomfortable conversations.
It really will. Intention first, words second.
Use them and watch how the entire energy of a feedback conversation shifts.
Now, your listener challenge.
And before we get there, let's be honest about something. Giving feedback is uncomfortable for most people. Even native English speakers struggle with it. So if you've been avoiding it, you're not alone, and you're not weak.
But avoidance has a cost. When feedback doesn't get delivered, small problems become big ones. Misunderstandings pile up. People don't grow. And eventually, someone says something in the worst possible way at the worst possible time.
So the skill we're building today, this is not just an English skill, it's a leadership skill, a relationship skill, a life skill.
Delivered in 8 minutes. You're welcome.
Efficient as always. Okay, your listener challenge. This week, think of one piece of feedback you've been holding back. Something real, something you've wanted to say to a colleague, a team member, anyone, but haven't because you weren't sure how.
Draft it. Write it out. Actually put the words down on paper. Use one of the 3 techniques: sandwich method, separate the work from the person, or ask first. Then read it back. Does it sound like someone who wants to help or someone who wants to win? Adjust until it sounds like the former. And then, when the moment is right, say it.
You don't have to deliver it perfectly. You just have to deliver it with intention. That's what professional communication is.
So here's your reflection question. Think of a time someone gave you feedback that actually helped you grow. What made it land well? What did they do differently? Just sit with that for a moment.
Because that honest reflection, that's where real growth lives.
If today's episode helped you, hit subscribe. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm Tom.
I'm Olivia. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.